Okay, so we'll go back here to our presentation. So we've got our wire that we're going to run up through the bottom of your lamp through the rod, and like
So
I said,
I have this type of light socket.
yes. Okay.
So would I have to pry this out?
Yeah, so it'll be easiest when you screw it onto the lamp so that you have the lamp base to kind of give it a little bit of a steady base to be able to pull the light socket apart. And there's a place on there, if you look on the side, it says press, and you'll press in just a little bit with your thumb. And it's a little bit tedious because there's little tiny, I'm going to call them little fingers that hold that together. So you want to be careful not to break any of those little fingers off.
Does he need to take off the knot and put the wire through here first, and then put the knot back on again or something?
Yes, or if you want to, you can cut off the plug and put it back through, but it'd be good practice for you to take the knot back apart and put it up through the lamp and then retie the knot.
Unless you want to practice doing this knot again, you can just leave that, and then you can either. All right, just cut it off then.
If you want to test your lamp before the end, you might want to leave the plug on. It's up to you.
I don't.
All right, well then you got to take the knot back out and then slide that through.
You can't though. You got to rip this part off.
Yeah, I know. He said there should be a place where you put your thumb there and push or something for it to open.
Yeah, you'll want to screw the light socket onto the top of the lamp there. So mine's a little bit different here, but I can show you on mine here that on the side of it by the little light switch there, you'll have a place that says push, and you'll put your thumb there and just kind of push in and push out and see if you can do that. Sometimes I have to use a very, very small electronic screwdriver, so I've got a very small screwdriver that you can put down and kind of not.
You got it.
Just kind of twist a little bit to release that, but it helps
Yeah,
if
you
you
got
have
it.
it screwed onto your lamp base so that you have something to hold that bottom piece. Now the lamp style that I have in my kit here, this is a little bit different here where the lamp socket unscrews. There's a ring here at the bottom that this will come apart, and it makes it a little bit easier to separate it, but yours has those little locking fingers in there.
He had to take his knot out to put that base, that piece that screws onto the base, so he can continue on with this.
Yes.
No, I think you need to
Oh,
come.
that's right.
Okay. But you had to have one in front and one in back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have one in front and one in back?
Yes.
And when you get it done, you can hold up your lamp base and let me take a look at it and see if I can see that again.
Is that one piece on tight?
Yeah, okay. And then let's see your knot there. You've got something, I think, wrong on your knot again. start with making 2 loops and go down right there, okay? And then push one behind and one in forward and front. There you go. No, no, no. You're wrapping, I see what you're doing. So you're wrapping all the way around. Don't wrap around. Come from the side that the wire is.
There you go.
You're going around the front, okay? So make your wires go straight down again, okay? Okay, so push one wire behind the front and one in front, okay? Now, just don't wrap them around, but just push them right through from the side that they are. Okay, so that one, there you go, from the back side forward, and the other one's from the front side to the back. There you go.
Just pull them tight now, or pull it up so it's the complete knot.
There you go.
Go ahead and pull that through then. You know, pull the cord through so you can don't have so much slack on there. I guess you just leave it out for now, I guess, so you get this part done.
Yeah. Now, after you get your socket wired on there, you can, even though the cord's split, you can move the knot closer up to the bottom of the light socket so that you don't have all that cord in the bottom of that light socket. Okay, so now let me go back to my presentation here. All right, so now that you've got that here, you're going to do the connections onto the screw shell here. And we've got 2 connectors on there. One's going to be a silver screw, or hopefully yours are color coded, and one's going to be a gold screw. If they're not color coded, you're going to have to look at the one that is got a rivet that is connected to the screw shell here, so you can kind of look through and see.
They're color coded. They're color coded.
They're color coded. Okay, so the silver screw is going to be the one that goes on the ribbed wire. And again, you're going to wrap that wire around that screw terminal in the clockwise direction. Okay, so the long tail is going to go up and around, and then you'll hold that together. And it's hard to explain on here, but on the very corner of those terminals, there are little bent corners. We call those dog ears. And those dog ears help hold those wires in place underneath while you squeeze that together to tighten down the screw. And again, we want to get the insulation up to the screw head, but not underneath of it. And all the wires need to be under the screws.
So which one goes on the silver screw?
Silver is the ribbed wire. The ribbed wire is the one that's the neutral wire. If you look here at my picture, you can probably see there's a little ribbed here on the silver screw, and this is the smooth wire that is on the gold screw.
Mm.
Now, I didn't ask on your lamp kit, were the wires pre-stripped on the ends and had little brass ferrules crimped on the end?
Well, I mean, I took that off because I couldn't take the. I cannot take the wire protective insulation off.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, those pre-stripped wires, they usually put the crimps on the end, and those cause a problem with getting those around the screws, and sometimes they end up under the screws, and you can't get a good tight grip on the screw with those brass ferrules on the end of the wires.
Did you wrap that around right, David? Is that supposed to be clockwise or counterclockwise?
Yeah, we want to make sure our wires are always around in the clockwise direction. So when you tighten down the screw, it pulls the wire underneath the screw instead of pushing it out. Okay, so you've got your knot in there. And once we get those wires wrapped around there, just like we would on the plug, we will use our electronic nippers to trim off the end of the excess wire there, flush with the bottom of the screw terminal. So it's nice and neat. You'll end up with this nice finished connection on your terminal down here. And you have to have pretty sharp electronic nippers. You can't use electrician's pair of side cuts because it cuts it probably about a ½ inch away from the terminal with those other style of side cuts. We call these flush cutters, where the back side is flush cutting to the surface of the cutter face.
Shouldn't fall up here. Come loose.
I'm good.
Okay. So you've got those all trimmed up and you're ready to go. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to move your knot closer to the bottom of the base of the light socket here. So when I pull mine out of here on the lamp, mine sits right in there, right at the base of the light socket. So, you know, within a ½ inch or so, because that's got to all fit down in that bottom of that lamp socket. And then you can pull that wire down in your lamp base there to get that all lined up. Now the other part is on your saddle of your harp mount there, you just want to make sure that that's on your lamp base nice and tight and it doesn't wobble or wiggle or anything like that. So when you put that light socket on there, everything should be nice and tight and everything should be pulled together with that rod through the entire length of the lamp. I see so many lamps that they come in and the top of the harp will rod.
Just gotta see that's touching. It can't be touching. That screws. Get it. Be sure you tighten it up really good. Tighten it. I'm holding it for.
No, I gotta readjust the wire now.
No, tighten it, David.
I gotta readjust the wire.
Okay.
Let me have it.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Did you tighten it good?
Yes.
Here, you gotta slide this in there. This slides over the net that goes in there.
And here's an example of how I push that wire underwriter's knot up there close to the base before I put that socket back together. Now my socket here has a little keyed part where I need to match that up. Yours, I don't believe, has a keyed area, so I believe you can snap yours together all the any direction that you need to on that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to think about on a lamp, I don't know if yours has a front and back on the lamp, but are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Okay. So one thing to think about when building a lamp, I'm right-handed also, so when I reach into the lamp to turn it on, I like to have my lamp switch on the right-hand side of the lamp. Some people try to put it on the front, and that makes it a little bit hard to reach in to turn. But if you put it on the right-hand side of the lamp, so when you reach in, your hand's already there, you can just turn the lamp on. If somebody's left-handed, you'd want the switch over on the left-hand side, so when you reach up to turn it on, it's easy to actuate that switch and turn it on. Now, if you've got a push-through switch, same way, it might be easier from side to side to make that switch go through, or front to back. Some people like it front to back, and the push-through switches can go either direction. In fact, the front to back probably is a little bit easier on the push-through switches.
It's not a screwdriver.
Yes, and there is a little set screw there to tighten up that on the threaded rod. So
I got it with
Okay. Ahead with those. There's another thing. Did you adjust it for the right or left hand? Okay.
I mean, it's one of these, so it's like no matter what, it's gonna be the same.
Oh, okay. All right. So what's the next part of the?
Put on the.
Put it on here. Yeah, put it on.
Of
Trying to get
course,
Bob to
got
see
the-
if it works. Yeah, take the shade off. We can get the bulb in there.
okay, and it kind of looks like your lampshade fits nice. The goal of the lampshade is to come down here right even with the base of the socket. You don't want it up above where the light bulb would show, or way down here where the shade is hard to get up underneath of it to reach in to turn it on. So it looks like you've got the proper height of harp there for your shade. Okay. Now, one other thing that's important for our lamp project for the 4-H exhibit is you'll want to put a note on there to tell the judge what your intended use of the lamp is. And this is important for them to know that you've selected the right style of shade and wattage of light bulb for the use. So if you're going to use it for a reading lamp, you know, if you're putting it on your desk, you want something that's got a little bit wider of a shade that lets the light kind of cover your desk and to see for reading or for working on a workspace. If you're using it for an accent lamp or just general lighting, the size and the shape of the shade is not as critical because you're not trying to, you know, light anything that's specific for reading or trying to highlight a work area. So, and especially if it's a small accent lamp, those are pretty free to do whatever, just, you know, whatever looks appropriate and whatever you like as far as a shade. So put that note on there that you're going to be using it for, you know, general lighting in your family room, your bedroom, whatever that is, or if you're going to use it for a work lamp for, you know, putting on your desk to be able to do homework and study, read, those kinds of things, whatever your purpose is. Okay, any questions that you might have?
No.
Okay, so that concludes everything I've got here for tonight. So I sure do appreciate it and coming to work with me. And then, like I said, you'll want to find a plug that you can wire on so that the 4-H project requirements are met and the molded plugs won't get marked down on your project there. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.